On this episode of The Average Tabletop Gamers, we're going to be doing an unboxing of Bloodbowl by Games Workshop.
Last play of the game, Dan. Can't hold back now.
Hi, welcome to The Average Tabletop Gamers. I'm Ian.
Osmataz Buckshank.
Gary.
And I'm Lee.
And to those of you who don't watch Key and Peele, that was a reference to one of their sketches. Check them out on YouTube.
Go watch them out, it's so funny.
But anyway, that's not why we're here to make jokes. We're here to have another unboxing of a lovely Games Workshop product.
A brilliant Games Workshop product, a classic as well.
And I think one, certainly a favourite of mine.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this previously. I think Blood Bowl is one of those games I remember growing up with as playing Games Workshop products before I was playing Warhammer, before I was playing 40k. This is the third edition?
Possibly fourth.
Fourth edition now. Because there was the first edition
paper
had paper counters.
You could even get Judge Dredd teams in there, opposing against Perps with fatties in there.
Yeah. Second edition
was the polystyrene pitch.
Absolutely. It was the first one I had.
Yeah, with a ball that went all the way through the cracks no matter where you put it.
Yeah. Third edition was the first one that came out as a full box set.
Colour card.
Colour card.
The format
that was the one I remember. That was the one I loved. And which this is essentially a scaled up version of the third edition.
And by scale up, you'll see what you mean when we see the miniatures in a moment.
So let's get straight into it. It's another lovely box. Games Workshop, another good, substantial,
beautiful artwork, well presented,
full to the brim.
It's lovely.
And the first thing that you see, a load of plastic.
Tons of it.
It's what we all want to see. So, straight off the top, we just mentioned the other versions there. So in the third edition, do you remember the plastic range rulers you used to get?
Floppy cellophane kind of,
It was all sort of like quite retro 90s, sort of early 80s.
Yeah,
sort of
very
black,
much so.
Yeah.
So I think with the changes in technology, most of the things you're getting now are plastic. So we've got some lovely, essentially you get I'll let you show that, two halves of a range ruler and the various throw-in templates there.
So this range ruler does require a little bit of assembly. You can push fit it, but I'd be tempted to glue it, but at that point it's not going to fit in the box.
Yeah, I've already, this isn't my box, but I've already put together mine. And it is actually quite a snug fit. So when you put it together, it doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart when you've got it on the game board. So they've actually done quite well there with how they've cast the plastic, which I guess just changes in technology.
Yeah.
Diving into the real things people are interested in when they open these products are the miniatures. Yeah. And that's the human team.
Yeah.
In blue.
In blue. I think the interesting thing is, and we've talked about this in some of our other videos, with the way gaming's changing and the people who are coming to it, a lot of them don't want to model, a lot of them don't want to paint. So Games Workshop have been quite clever, and rather than just having everything in matte grey, you've now got different colours for each team.
Yeah.
But I think, talking about continuing on that theme, I'm one of these gamers who I like playing the games. I like the cool miniatures, and I like playing the games. I don't like putting them together, I don't like modelling, and I don't like painting.
He's lazy.
I am lazy, but I mooch off my friends who are far better at it than me.
He mooches.
They're not lazy.
And are not lazy. So I know you get a lot more from that side of things, and I mean these are push fit miniatures. So I'm interested to see what you think about them.
Yeah, I mean for me, they're great. The miniatures are really detailed. They're great, obviously, to put together. You can, if you're completely new to the hobby or lazy, you can put them together pretty quickly once you clip them. Painting wise, I did enjoy painting them as well. That's what my main interest in this actual hobby, because I just pretend to be friends with these people so I can paint miniatures to have a reason.
What fit are these again?
They're push fit.
What again, sorry?
Push fit. Are you mocking my accent?
For the fans of Jurassic Park out there, you may realise where that may have came from. So much as the push fit's really great, it's dead accessible. The thing for me though with these is not exactly versatile. You've got to be, the other end of the spectrum is you're going to have to be a really, really good modeller to do something with these.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's a different end of the scale really. The arms, if you do a cut because it's flesh, you're going to struggle. You're going to not get them into better positions. There's some simple little conversions. For example, with the catcher who's in a beautiful leaping pose to grab the ball, I just literally cut the base at an angle, and I tipped him. So
Yeah.
it looks like he's doing a diving catch, which is one of the skills you can have. So, fits really well within the game too. So there's little things you can do.
And the other thing that we've talked about the miniatures. That what I think is quite nice is a little bit of a departure from the 3rd edition, where if you remember, those of you who played, you may remember you had a track where you tracked timeouts, you tracked your turn, you tracked which down you were on, and you had little little cardboard counters you moved along that. Taking the advantage of the space they've got in the sprues, you've actually got team specific. So those are the Reichland Reavers counter, and I think you've probably got the gouged eye on the Orc one, don't you?
Yeah, it's a gouged eye. There it is.
And you get about. Let's have a look. We'll have a focus up on the gouged eye there.
I think it's nice the contrast between the two colours as well. If you're not going to paint them, if you're literally going to play a Blood Bowl, you're still going to have 2 really nice sets of figures, like a chess set,
and I know,
on the board.
I know when I say this, it makes you die a little bit inside. Yes. You tend to have a bunch of green tokens and a bunch of blue tokens to play against each other.
I think the thing as well is with the little touches is with the way that Workshop's gone digital with the the use of ZBrush and digital modelling these days is cost the packing a lot more on the sprue. On this sprue alone, there's 3 Blood Bowl balls on that one sprue, so you're going to end up with about 12 balls.
Yeah.
In the original game, you got 1, which was always a bit ludicrous. Once you'd lost it, you're down to something to represent it. But there are also different designs. You've got one that's a squig ball. You've got one that's covered in spikes because it's more orky. Actually, really nice touches.
Yeah.
Really little things that really make you go, yeah, that's great attention to detail.
So that's us through all the plastics that are in the box, with the exception of the bases.
The bases, but let's move on from there.
But it's maybe worth, just before we move off the miniatures, we sort of started off by talking about how this is 3rd edition scaled up.
Yeah.
And the scale, and that's what I really noticed, and it will really become apparent when we get to the board. It's quite different, the size of the miniatures, because I used to have a dwarf team in 3rd edition, my deep down shafters, and I thought when we first got this, I'll just be able to reuse my dwarves, and I put them on the board next to like your basic humans, and they were like a halfling, a bearded halfling team.
To me, it's almost like a progression of a comic, like really old Judge Dredd in black and white, and then you see now where every pin in the comic's like a masterpiece.
Yeah.
And like you look at the miniatures back then, they were very little bit comical.
So, but I think we've got one of my orcs that you actually painted for me.
Yeah.
And one of your original orcs, is that right?
Yeah, from about 20 years ago.
So let's get these up and close up, and we'll leave them in there a little bit so you can get the comparison. And as you can see, there's a massive difference, not just in detail, but the size and the scale. And with Workshop going to the beautiful level as the models have got, this wouldn't look out of place in an Age of Sigmar battlefield. To be honest, struck a grenade on his back or a shooter. It's an orc boy.
And I think the Blitzer pose, the orc Blitzer pose is a beautiful, beautiful miniature.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. I think, once again with Workshop, it's where they get it right time after time. Beautiful toy soldiers. You can't get away from Workshop doing that, and they are fantastic. So when you have a look at those, they're absolutely brilliant. We'll have a look at the humans. Now, just for another comparative scale, I'll show 2 models at once here. I'll show the human catcher from the new team with the old Blood Bowl Ogre.
Painted my human team painted up with the San Francisco 49ers there, Go 49ers.
Yeah, which are really nice, and the size difference is ridiculous.
I think that model was kind of like multi-role because you could use it in Warhammer Fantasy roleplay and battle. I don't think it would work in both.
Is it worth showing that compared? Because I've got the troll there, the Blood Bowl troll, which is the difference between the old ogre and the new troll. Is
because the old trolls were roughly the same size as well.
It does actually look like you could throw a teammate.
Yeah,
the troll could throw the ogre there.
Yeah.
And these are absolutely stunning. The new troll is beautiful. He's a plastic kit. He's multi-part. He's absolutely beautiful.
And again, beautifully painted by Lee for me.
I must admit, the thing is, I do enjoy that he keeps giving me stuff that I don't have, and it's great.
So the trolls and the ogres retail at like £12 to £15. I got Morgenthau, so he's in resin. So he's a Forge World model. Really nice. Very well detailed, beautifully sculpted. I just use him as an ogre. He's just gorgeous. He's just spiky, lovely model.
And I think that's Games Workshop again making good use of their supporting. I don't know if it's supporting companies, if they're all the same company, but making use of Forge World, where a lot of the star players you can get are coming out through Forge World.
Your Varrock Gulchus, your Griffobolds,
Mighty Zug,
which is lush.
Bomber Dribble Snot, he was always my favourite. In fact, I've got him somewhere here.
And I think, but they're also bringing out the teams. They come in at about, I want to say £20 or £30.
Yeah, they're around £18 to £20.
It is the £20 mark.
Yeah, definitely.
And they're nice, and the thing that's frustrated me, and it's frustrated me in some of their other products, is it's the release schedule.
Yeah,
it's very, very slow.
They're doing it as seasons, and I think the specialist games don't get. Do you know what? They're getting more love than they've done in a lot of years at Workshop, and this is once again this what we're referring to as this silver age of gaming that's going on at the moment for not only board gaming but tabletop gaming as well. It's really great time to be a gamer. And the technology supporting it, the digital things you can get for it,
accessibility,
that's
brilliant. It's sort of like, I think, and that was the thing for me when I first started playing many moons ago. When I started playing Games Workshop games, it was Space Hulk, and there was a shop I went to, a model shop in Ashington, and it had Blood Bowl and it had Space Hulk, and I was saving up for a copy of either one at the time over my summer holidays, and it was just sort of like looking at that thing, going, I'm going to get this, and it was the fact that it was a pick up and play game. You could take it around to your friend's house and you had everything in the box.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
I think that's why it coming back to me is such a... It's
I'm exactly the same, and I think we've kind of talked about the things that they've really embraced that with the push-fit models. I mean, all you have to do is clip those off, squeeze them together, you're done.
Yeah.
We are getting when I were a lad now, but
that's a good point, because you say you're getting young lads and lasses who are going and saying, yes, I can play this game.
Yeah. I think when you're thinking, speaking old versus young, this is the same game as 3rd edition. There are some tweaks. It's been out a while now, but it's well worth coming to. And I'm going to talk about one of my bugbears with this game, is these dice.
You have a bugbear, Gary?
I have a bugbear. These dice do my nutting.
Would it be because of how the 6 is represented, Gary?
Is it 6? Is it a 1? What is it? When you roll a dice, if you've got to look at them and go, I've rolled it.
Somebody somewhere tried really hard to come up with something nice and interesting, Gary.
But no, I've got...
It's the gratification of going, I can see all my 6s.
It's when you roll it and you go, there's a lot of dots showing me there.
Done it. Get in. He's done it. Yeah, I've got him. But kind of like, and as well, they're not very clear. The old dice were white with black symbols, which were really basic, but they did the job.
And I think what is nice... I mean, I have exactly the same problem. I like to see 6s, like 6 dots showing, and lots of them. But what they're doing, which they're doing with a lot of games, and I think not exclusively Games Workshop, a lot of companies are doing this now. They've gone, faction-specific dice, obviously.
Which is it's a good little cash cow. People, I refer to these as dice crap when you look at the nice dice. Don't get me wrong, I look at the Strike and Scorpion dice that Workshop did. I thought they're beautiful, but there's a tiny little number next to a massive Strike and Scorpion symbol. I was like, well,
yeah. And I think the only thing that makes them different, and it comes back to the 6s, is they just use the team logo for the 6.
And for £6 to £7, it's kind of like, I'll always go back to it. I'd rather buy more toy soldiers.
Yeah. Well, here's one, and I didn't know this one out myself, but I did some research before this show. See those? Mm-hmm. Do you know what those are?
That to me looks like a 10-sided dice.
That is not a 10-sided dice.
Okay.
That is a 16-sided dice. Made specifically for this game, so you can randomly select a player.
Yeah.
That is just... I mean, I like it. I like having a 16-sided dice, but it's basically a spinning top with numbers on it.
Yeah, when you consider you're never going to have more than 12 players on the pitch on your team, a D12 would have done it. Unless there's a special rule within the game where you need 16 to roll. So let's dive in down.
So another divider, which has become a good theme in their games to keep your cards and your books protected from the miniatures. That's had a bit of a bashing. That
yeah,
one, hasn't
it has. Which is so. In other words, it's done its job really. Actually, it's got advertisements on it, but I think the newer games, as we've seen on some of our other reviews, if you go and check out our Kill Team review and opening, you'll actually find it's got beautiful artwork on there, which I think is a much better thing to have.
It certainly is.
Yeah.
So, right off the top, a bunch of transfers. looks like a lot of really fine detail, lots of interesting things there that someone who might paint your miniatures for you could use. So I'll pass those to Lee.
Shall I show the viewers? Let them have a
the
look.
same price as usual. I mean, for me, it's sort of when you get all the extra equipment in the box, you know, the transfers, the quality of the miniatures. I think you're either going to be like an all-rounder kind of game where you go, I want to paint, I want to game, I want to build.
Or you just lash the paint on, so it's there, it's done.
Yeah, or like myself, where, you know, you're talking about, you know, you guys get worried about the symbol and the six-sided dice and stuff, where during the game I'm just misty-eyed staring at miniatures all day, and you know that's how I keep losing.
Yeah.
But, and
dragging out our games.
Exactly, yeah, but, you know, I don't care. So...
The other thing with this is the symbols are in white and black, so they've actually done it so that you understand that people are going to paint it differently. In the old sets, you get white ones for the Reichland Reavers, you get black ones for the Gouged Eye, because it fit within the way that they were done. Now it makes it versatile. It means you can do your teams like, I've got my Marienburg Dolphins, so you know I've used the white symbols because it fits with the turquoise, your colour scheme I've done. So these are really nice, and I like it. It's a nice little touch.
So first out the box, some. What is becoming a common theme in a lot of these kind of games is some good cards, some good card stock. And you've got two different sets of cards in here. You've got the special plays, which are a little bit of a hark back, I feel, to, was it Death Zone, the expansion for the 3rd edition, which had all the dirty tricks, special plays, and magical item cards
like
that you could
minefield traps and things like that, yeah.
So these feel a little bit like that. Now, I've not used any of these in my game. I think
I
have, and
I wasn't a fan.
They almost felt a little bit like you were just being cheated, because I think was it one of them was you. For those who've played Blood Bowl, it's quite a tactical game where you have to plan your moves, plan who's moving.
For me, it's one of the most tactical games to do.
Yeah.
It's the game that I have most pondered and thought about what I'm going to do next, rather than just
only to be ruined by a dice roll and a failed reroll.
Totally.
But one of those cards was, whoever this card is played on must move first in every turn for the game. So if you're the orc team and someone plays that on your thrower, which I think is what happened to you, isn't it? It's one of those things that always feels like I'm being cheated in the game.
Yeah.
I'm not getting to play the game I bought and wanted to play.
Yeah.
So you can use them. You can use them if you want. I think you can actually buy these separately, can't you?
Yeah.
They're about £15 if you just want to buy the pack.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those where the price point's a bit spicy for my taste, to be honest. When it's just a set of cards, I know you've got all the rules have gone in there. They're nicely painted. There's some nice bits of artwork, but ultimately, am I getting a lot of bang for my buck? For £3 more, £5 more, I'm getting another team.
Yeah,
I'd want another team.
And the other thing is, and I absolutely agree, because like when we all played, you basically had a bit of paper with your whole team on it, and you wrote all their stats in it.
Oh yeah.
Now you're being given, I mean, it's maybe worth showing, those are the cards for the actual star players, but they also do them for just the players.
Right.
With all the stats, and they're nice, they've got nice art, but they're quite big. And as I think we'll find shortly, space is a premium on your table when you're playing Blood Bowl.
See, to me, again, going back, like you're saying about the roster, having the old school roster, and the old 3rd edition, 2nd edition had a campaign where your players got better, and harks back to Football Manager and stuff like that. You know, you're playing to improve the team, and I think that for me, obviously, fair enough. You're getting your stats, you've got a nice bit of card, but when you're spending the game doing
exactly.
However, let's bring this fast forward into the future of smartphones.
Ooh.
That we have actually got apps that Games Workshop producing to support the games. I'm looking forward to the apps they might do for Kill Team, the way they can support it better. I still think it's an area that Workshop need to grasp a little bit more and do a little bit better with. I think there's lots of potential. I'll just put that under the...
I mean, the apps are very accessible, aren't they? I mean, and if you're like Gary, you can get a young person to show how to use them as well.
Yeah, I was actually shown this by a young person today of how to use this. I wasn't sure myself, but when you're using it, this is kind of like, this is really accessible. We've all got one. I think the only person that hasn't got one is my mum, and she's 82. So kind of like, that's not the age range you're dealing with. You're dealing with younger people. Technology is here. It's now. It's got to be utilised. And I think the next step for Workshop is embracing that. And do you know what? If they'd said to me, for Kill Team, I'm bringing this out, we're going to charge a £5 for this app. You know, there's no product wastage. There's no packaging wastage. You know, everyone wins. Workshop makes a profit. and that digital engagement's there.
Yeah.
I think this is another step forwards. In the much as we were talking about Ziploc bags with everything's going to have to go the way of the dodo.
I bet those Ziploc bags at the bottom of this box.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
And I think this is the thing where this is kind of like, this is the next future step. And you know what, Games Workshop? I'd pay a little bit more for a better app. And by the way, half of my human team is called Adolf on this. There's like 4 Adolfs in my team and 3 Zimmermans. It's like, I don't think you went to town giving this a good name and structure.
It's just interesting what you were saying there about the campaign. I just got the rule book out, so that's the next bit out. A fairly, actually, by some of the games we've seen recently standard, a fairly thin rule book, which shows the simplicity and the accessibility of the game.
But such a good game on the back of
Oh,
that, though.
brilliant. But no campaign section in this.
No.
Yeah.
So you
Wait
get
for
the
Death Zone.
campaign
Yeah.
in Death Zone Season 1 or Season 2. And this is where my bugbear
Bugbear, yeah.
comes in, is Death Zone it's about the thickness of this, which is a heavy cardstock magazine, for want of a better
it is.
description.
It's smaller than White Dwarf.
And it's £18.
Yeah.
And Season 2 is an almost identical book with a few extra teams in it.
Yeah.
So I feel they're milking it a bit, but the campaign stuff in it is what you remember. It's what we. It is the same
because
thing.
that was the thing for me, because somebody like myself who only really sort of follows the national sports, like in times of World Cups and stuff like this is the closest thing I get to engaging in any sort of league.
Yeah, this is our exercise. But it's a nice glossy rule book.
It's beautifully laid out. It's very colourful, but interestingly, as a bit of a departure as a start set, the miniatures in the examples aren't painted. So let's just show you that.
I think if you think back to the old ones, they were just like mostly black and white, loads of cartoon characters, silly situations, and trying to drive home the zaniness of the game, wasn't it?
But any pictures, they would have had painted miniatures, beautifully painted miniatures.
Let's not forget, this is set in Games Workshop's older Warhammer setting, which is now gone the way the Dodo, thanks to Age of Sigmar. However, it still harks back to that. It still doesn't make it any less of a great game. It's still fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's still got teams in that you're going to recognise, because they're not going to get the new naming. They're going to be orcs, not aurochs. They're going to be humans.
Yeah.
You know, I think for that, I think for Workshop, smart move.
And I hope they keep it like that. I hope they don't try and do Blood Bowl Age of Sigmar.
Yeah, I mean, it's got draw old and new, hasn't it? Really?
Yeah,
It's
totally.
got, to be fair, obviously I bought a copy with Ben, and I know you guys went halves and stuff like that. People went, and it was bought strength on what it was like before.
Absolutely.
It was like, I've played this pretty much 2/3 of my life, 3/3 of my life. I played this game, and that's enough for me.
Yeah.
There you go, take my money.
So,
and I think the just talking about some of the, I guess, the fluff that goes. I mean, I remember and this could be nostalgic eyes.
yeah, rose tinted glasses.
But I'm sure
Rheumatic
I
eyes.
remember the old Blood Bowl book being thicker than that, but being far fuller of the background fluff. So not rules,
Nuffle.
just
Nuffle, naff.
And you
all
always
that
had
stuff.
those interesting little, where the two announcers, the
Jim and Bob.
the ogre and the vampire, or maybe dark elf.
Yeah.
I think for me as well, at the time when the game first came out, there was a bit of it. I mean, back in the 80s, American football hit shows with a passion, and I think it built over the 80s where it was like a staple on Channel 4, and people kind of understood, and by osmosis people took on football. So putting stuff like that in a rule book was great, because it enthused people into sort of like we're football fans and fantasy players as well.
This game was ultimately initially designed by Jervis Johnson, even in its later iterations. And Jervis is a big American football fan. Bit of a nerd fact: if you're a Dark Angel player, Lionel Johnson is actually Lionel Johnson. I think he's a Green Bay Packer linebacker from the 1970s.
I think he was actually.
Yeah, and it's one of those where it's rich in Games Workshop's heritage and culture. It's quite good to know.
So just another little bit of
A quirky
advertising in there, but they've also included a code that lets you get 50% off Blood Bowl 2 on the computer, which I have. I didn't get. I got it before this came out. It's. I don't know if you've.
I've looked at it at Steam and I looked at it on the Xbox, and I don't think he's tempted me to buy
No,
it.
it's a fairly. I played it a lot. It's a fairly faithful recreation of the game,
Oh, it is.
with one key
Crucial.
difference in that they wanted it to be exciting and
Cinematic.
give you the cinematic and that immediate endorphin rush. So whereas
I've killed a player.
I think on the
Yes.
casualty charts, you're in the board game, your chances of dying is like 1 in 12, or it's quite high that it's quite low that you die from an injury. On the computer game, it was every second hit seemed to kill the players.
Just if you search Blood Bowl 2 computer game and kill pictures, which sounds a bit grim, but if you have a look at it, you'll just see pictures of sides of the pitches, the dugouts, where there's just corpses everywhere. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And literally, if someone got killed in a campaign, it was rare.
Yeah.
Never mind one game or one half.
So I mentioned a wee while ago now, premium space on the table.
Yeah.
Now looking at this is basically the size of the box, and that is one of the dugouts taking out almost that entire box size.
Which
it's ridiculous.
And I've got to be honest.
So if we were to put that this side of the table, I'm stretching now to reach the other side of the table. If Gary was to put that there, we've got about 10 inches between the two.
We've got nowhere to put the pitch.
So we'll be sitting a long ways on this.
So
and
I'm going to open up the other thing. This is beautiful, and the reason we'll talk about everything as we do here. This is absolutely stunning. This pitch is amazing. It's absolutely fantastic. But as you, good God, I'm struggling to open it up because
to me,
it's enormous. It's absolutely massive. It's beautiful, but it's just gigantic. The models have scaled up. They have scaled up. However, it's one of those where it's lost a little bit something in that. You know, when you're playing, I play across a dining room table. All the stuff that I also need have to be at the side.
Yeah, and you can already see that this isn't even on my dining room table where we're filming at the moment. And we have also got to get 2 of these on and a bunch of cards that we put up. Yeah.
So that wouldn't even go. It would just fit long ways. So you'd be sitting either side of the table. Like
so I've played Stephen at this quite recently actually, and we almost had secondary chairs set up with our
Extra
dugout,
stuff
extra stuff on it because and this isn't a huge dining room table, but it's not a small one. But it's a lovely. I mean,
Let's talk about the benefits.
The artwork on it is beautiful.
It's a nice board. I think as well, kind of like it's well laid out. You can see the squares quite well. I think it's one of those where the definition on it's lovely. The other interesting thing that you didn't get last time is it's double-sided, so you get it themed. This is themed for the Orcs for Gouged Eye. For fans of World War II gaming and Warlord Games' Bolt Action series, these aren't German Panzer markings. Workshop have thought about this. They've actually thought, well, we're going to have to do some white shadowing to get the relief on to make the squares that give definition a standout.
Yeah,
I think that's a nice
and
touch.
It's quite clever.
Yeah, it's quite clever. It's a good touch from them. An Orc theme board. It looks like a bit of a wasteland. It's really nice.
And it's another quite clever bit of marketing for them in that whenever they bring out a new team, they also bring out the appropriate extra board that you can play on that represents that team's home ground.
So with the dugout, human side, and this isn't an Orc laptop. This is actually the Orc dugout, and it's really nice. It's nice that they themed it. It's once again, it's the size and the space are just a bit. It's a bit pointless.
And I don't remember tracking all this on the board. So you've got at the top. You've got your score at the top. You've got, and this is the real expanders. You've got a row for the turns of the first half.
Yeah.
And then a row for the turns of the second half.
Yeah.
Why they didn't just use the same one with some other indicator would have saved a whole bunch. And then your reroll
at the bottom. So there's a lot of space now. There's a lot of the games manufacturers out there that have actually created mats for this. The pitch is always going to be the same size, but whenever I've seen dugouts, they're about half the size because it's all you need. So it's quite interesting to see what other manufacturers are doing to capitalise and piggyback onto Workshops launches. And I think in some instances they possibly got that a little bit better.
One thing that I really, really do like though is, and whether you can see, maybe you can put this underneath. You've basically got the 3 different bits of your dugout. So you've got ready to go into play, you've got your KO'd, and you've got your injured. To help out players with something they can immediately see, they've actually put the dice numbers, the rolls that you get, that put them into the various boxes. Yeah. I think it's a really nice, clever little visual indicator.
And the one thing I would say is the Orc side, it's pretty hard to look at.
Yeah.
we always find that no matter what ball pitch, what we're doing,
I use that with my.
We use the human side, no matter what.
Quick reference guides. We all love a quick reference guide.
Yeah, more than Ben, but yes.
So it's actually got a lot of really great information that you need to play the game. And I think it's one of those where there's enough detail on there where you're not going backwards and forwards in between the book. The app on the phone will actually help you for playing the game as well, but still, you can't beat wellness.
And if you are familiar, we've been really nostalgic in this show today. We've talked a lot about third edition.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with third edition, the gameplay is the same.
Yeah.
I can't think of many differences in it. It's the same game but bigger.
If you take out the special plays, which, like for me, I've seen them.
I don't play with them.
Yeah, I don't. We don't play with them. We don't, and I think, and rightly so. There's people who say, "Oh, they're a great quirky add-on," but if you want to play and have, much as the fun, they can take the edge away from.
I suppose it's on the gaming etiquette, isn't it? You know your friends. It's the sort of I'm going to destroy you, or we're here to have a fun time.
Yeah. The gaming group we've got.
I'm a fun sponge. I like to win.
To be fair, we like to think of ourselves as gentlemen gamers, and we're very genial. There's a lot of give and take. We're happy to concede things and agree mutual points, and we come up with our own house rules. And to be fair,
that does not sound like me at all.
It does.
This does happen in another place that's not Ian's house.
I ran Games Workshop stores for many, many years, and you would see people where they would stick voraciously to the rules, and then they complain about them and say, "Well, what are you doing about that? What's your house rules?" And we're quite happy to come to a compromise, and it's not a problem. I think gamers don't do that enough. You shouldn't be battling about the game and losing the fun element. Even with Ian around, who's known as a bit of a fun hoover.
I like him. I think Ian does a great job.
I like rules. Rules keep us organised and make it fun for everyone.
Rules are how you control the fun. Always remember that, folks.
Wow. I mean, listen to that.
So anyway, before we get into any more bashing of me,
we're going to get environmental.
Here are the plastic bags that we were talking about earlier. Gabby?
So this is the thing. I like to talk about this because, not because I'm some rabid eco warrior, but it needs to be said, really. This is a lot of really naff stuff, really, to organise things, and I think gaming companies have got to step up the mark. There's a lot of great card stock in here, which if there's something you could fold up to hold your counters in, there must be something clever that can do from a design point of view, that you can simply assemble. Sell add-on sets for it to keep your stuff together. There's enough things out there, even for Shadespire, which is a great little game that Workshop do as well. They do little trays to keep everything organised.
Maybe we'll do a box opening of Shadespire sometime in the future.
That sounds like an idea. Maybe we know people who do like reviews and unboxing channels.
We should talk to
them, definitely. But I think gaming companies really, with a focus on the media about. I think we've all seen the videos, and they're really traumatic when you see these turtles and sea creatures where they're getting damaged by plastics. Yeah. It's got to go. Yeah. This has had its day, really, and I think, come on, get this sorted.
So I think that's the... Thank you for that public service announcement.
That was me being the fun
there. That's everything you get in the box. It's another good game by Games Workshop, coming in at
65.
65? Oh. 60, I'm glad you're there. Coming in at £65 for the lot. It's given the quality of the boards, the miniatures you get there.
It's fantastic.
I'll be honest, I don't think it's, of some of the games coming out, I don't think it's the best bang for the buck. It's a pure, what do you get for your pounds? However, for me, this is probably the best game Games Workshop have ever done, so I was absolutely happy to pay for it.
A team with a star player is going to set you around 25 to 30 quid.
Yeah.
That's not breaking the bank. It's not a hard painting task for some of us. And, it's one of those where when you've got that little bit of an investment, it's cheap, it's accessible, it's a great pick-up game. You can play around your mates, you can have a game in an hour, it's done. You can have a campaign over the space of a day. Yeah. You can do lots of things with it. You have tournaments. Absolutely fantastic.
I think that probably leaves it for this episode of The Average Tabletop Gamers. It does. Mm-hmm. If you can give us likes or hit us up on the social media, which will be at the bottom. I'm probably not the best one to talk about social media because I don't really engage with it that much.
So if you check us out on Twitter...
Please, people who do engage with it, engage with us.
So like us on Twitter, follow our Instagram. Facebook as well. If you've got
some questions,
ask some questions as well. We'd love to field your questions. If you've got something that you want to know about a little bit more, you want some insights, maybe you want to see some of our painted miniatures up there. If you want to see those on those social media pages, let us know.
If anybody from Games Workshops watching, bring back Dungeon Bowl.
Let's not listen to the crazy person in the corner, though.
And if you are bringing stuff back, could you bring back Mordheim first?
Anybody else?
Can we stop wish listing? But Blood Bowl, to wrap it up, fantastic game.
Yeah. It gets a definite, it's mint from me.
It's a massive hit for me.
And it's the token painter. I just love painting miniatures, so it's been good fun for me as well.
Thanks very much, folks, and we'll see you in the next episode.